Okay, good afternoon. This is several takes. The last one I thought was perfect and found out had a little mistake in there. So I'll still use the format. I'll talk to you about some things first, and then the kids will be up. So anyway, parents, a couple things that I've had come through Remind and email as problems are the videos and read alouds. If they're not right up there, you can just Google the book, and there's several versions will come up. Some of just pages turning and someone reading in the background, and sometimes it's a celebrity reading the story as well. And you can choose the version that you like. And along with that, for videos and read alouds, I thought we'd do a couple book recommendations today. So some of our favorite authors in our classroom, one is Dave Pilkey, and he does lots of stories. One of their favorites is Dogzilla and Cat Kong, and they can be Googled as well and read. There's a little bit of copyright information out there about reading them aloud, so I'm kind of staying away from that, and I'm just going to do some book recommendations and have you Google that, and it's already out there, and then we won't have to worry about it. Another author is Norleen Jardine, and she writes Balloon Farm and Racing Dragons. And Chris Van Allsburg is another one that we like. Polar Express, Jumanji, The Stranger, Wreck of the Zephyr. So both of those last two authors leave their books kind of open-ended, which gives you an opportunity for a writing lesson or something to write about. Like the next chapter, what might happen next in this? Did this really happen? It leaves the kids wondering a little bit, which is kind of a fun little ending of a story. So, and then when I talk about opinion writing, you could use these stories probably to even do an opinion piece. I'm going to talk about spelling in a minute, and so flashcards would be handy here as well as with math facts. And you can cut up old cereal boxes or construction paper or whatever you have laying around to use for those. Handwriting. One of the sites I used for my own kids that Lori Stone recommended was, it's all one word, handwritingpractice.net. All one word, handwritingpractice.net. And here's an example of what I did for him when he was like younger. But you can type in any information you want, the spelling words, a sentence, their name, whatever you'd like to have them work on. You can use that handwriting.net. Also, a shout out to Hunter Kesak for parents and children. He is having a birthday tomorrow on the 24th. So if you are in contact with him, make sure you wish him a happy birthday. All right. And the last thing I'd like to say to parents is keep up all the great work. Don't stress. We're all in this together. I had some trials with my own son today doing spelling, and I'll talk to you about that and how we solve the problem. And lastly, Scholastic Book Clubs has a pop-up shop coming up, and I wrote to you on Remind about it. If you need some more writing or any of the books we just talked about, you can order, and I believe it'll be sent right to your house. And I do have an order out now that should be coming in this week, and I'll get it to you whether it's through mail or I drop it off in your mailbox or whatever. I will get it to you once I see that package has been delivered. Okay? And again, parents, feel free to contact me anytime with any concerns or questions, and I'll get it right out. All right? Kids, so the weather today, not my favorite. So I was going to say that's a great opinion piece, writing about whether you think cold spring days or warm spring days are better. And so always opening with a hook or a hook or something to lead want your reader to read more, and then talk about the facts and that support your opinion, and then wrap up with the same thing. So if I like warm spring days, what could be my opinion, and then to wrap up and be like, and so this is why I like warm spring days. All right. And talking about spring days, I sent some pictures through Remind. We have baby bunnies in the barn. I think we may have some chicks, but the hen is a little bit, you know that saying they say, meaner than a setting hen. Well, she doesn't want me to check and see if she's got chicks under there, and it's pretty cold out, so I let her keep whatever she has under there. We have barn kittens now, and so anyway, keep sending me your spring pictures and your videos and anything like that. We're going to talk about spelling in a minute. Math facts. Math is like a like when you're building scaffolding or a house. You need a good foundation, and our foundation is knowing your math facts, addition and subtraction. So keep those fresh. There's lots of sites out there to practice those, and some stuff online as well from the Waypoint website that we put out. Some common mistakes we talked about before, but I'm just going to talk about them one more time. Adding, remember to add your carryover in. Subtracting, when you need to borrow from your neighbor if there's not enough. If the number on the bottom's bigger, you got to borrow from the top and your neighbor. So always start on the star side, which is the one sides. The ones are the stars. Always start on that side. And one thing I said, if I see something online or something that will possibly be a help, I will add it to our video or on our remind. So I saw this the other day. And if you're copying things off the website, 741 plus 368, and someone had said just turn the paper sideways and it helps them keep the numbers lined up. That can be a common mistake as well, that they don't line up the numbers. If you're using scrap paper and they write big or kind of have their numbers slanted, and it can get confusing when you're trying to add like 3-digit numbers or subtract. So using the paper, line paper, flip it the opposite way will help them to keep them lined up. Science, a little science lesson for today. We went out to do chores this morning and it was snowing and sleeting and same thing you're having. And so we found that we thought we'd talk about solids, liquids, and gases. And so we had ice, and we found out if we keep it in our hands, the energy from our body would take the ice and melt it into the liquid, water. And same thing with snow, even on your tongue. But the bigger the piece of ice, the longer it took, the more energy it took to dissolve that ice into water. And then, of course, when we came back in, they were cold and wanted some hot cocoa. So the steam coming off the hot cocoa was the last, the gas or the water vapor was the last for solids, liquids, and gas. It was the gas, the water vapor. And spelling, we're going to talk a little bit about spelling, and that is the words for the week. And I usually go down through there. And weight, we're going to be talking about AI, EA, OA, and EE words this week. So, and like I said, I practice those words however you want, using flashcards, using words in color, or when I was doing it with my second grader this morning, he made one of his T's look like an F and kind of started to get upset with himself. And I said, look, another way to practice spelling words is to maybe make them in bubble letters. So his T, he'd made look a little bit like an F. And so we just turned that T into a bubble letter T and continued on and kind of solved the problem. So, and we'd always introduce the words and talk about them to make sure they understand. Wait, you have to wait in line for lunch. Trail, people like to walk on a trail. Team, we're a team in our classroom. Year, this year is 2020. Peach, a fruit, but also a flavor that a lot of people like. A goal, sometimes people set goals for themselves, and sometimes we score a goal in soccer. Float, that's another science lesson if you wanted to practice something. Fill a dish pan up with water, see some household items that might sink or float, and talk about buoyancy a little bit. So that's a fun activity. We did it with candy before, but anyway, different kinds of candy will sink and different kind of candy will float. Coach, I like to coach soccer. Keep, you need to keep things in your desk. In street, there's the Dollar General on Main Street in Whitney Point. I think I've gotten to most everything that I wanted to. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact me through email or remind, and I'll get right back to you. I am sorry this video was a little bit later today, but again, I did do several takes. So thanks for bearing with me. Stay healthy and have a great day.